the new way of gaining power through war, a new way of new weapons, basically. Because my PhD is on genocide, but especially on cultural genocide. So drugs, alcohol is used as a weapon against the nations. Like I know from Venezuela, in the past they said, okay, we're not going to use war, we're not going to use tanks against US, we're going to use drugs. So what is happening is not only business, it's a political decision. Fentanyl is one of those recent decisions, political decision to pump it into America and kill society, weaken the society. And I don't believe I know it's not only business. This is the way to kill. That's why I think it's a part of culture genocide against American society. This is what they're trying to do in Europe. But Poland, for example, is the last stronghold of normality and awareness that this is not only business. So we fight very hard and we protect our borders the way nobody does, because our parliament passed the law that we can use live bullets, lethal weapon to kill if you are trying to cross the border and harm any of our soldiers. So if you want to come to Poland illegally, trying to harm any of our services, you will die. You will die.
Real quick, the United States has been largely funding all these other countries, wars in other countries, and correct me if I'm wrong, has this been fact-checked yet that Trump paused foreign aid for 90 days?
For everyone but Israel.
Really?
Yes, that's what the community note said.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, either way, to start, I guess. Mm-hmm. But in terms of how much we've spent on Israel and Ukraine and Afghanistan, Iraq, etc.
Taiwan recently. The only actual move that would ever make sense to an American is securing our southern border, dealing with the cartels that are trafficking fentanyl, drugs, children. When they come to us and say Ukraine and Russia, it's like, okay, I mean, this is 8,000 more, 12,000 miles away. How far away is it from here? What is the purpose of American resources going into these conflicts? Israel, for instance. And on the southern border, we have drugs, trafficking, murder, death. They say that, I forgot the name of the city. Juarez. Yeah. One of the most dangerous cities in the world. It's on our border and there's death and explosions and guns. I mean, we should stop that, right?
Why soldiers and border officers are given guns? What is the reason?
In the United States?
What is the purpose of having a gun?
Deterrence.
To use it. What is the problem? What is the problem for American Congress to pass the law that immediately when someone is trying to cross the wall is dead? What's the problem?
Well,
we passed this law. Do it. I mean,
so let's contrast the
with the experience of the gangs, because it's not about killing people, innocent people for no reason, like a dog, like ducks. It's not about that. We are human beings. We know that there are different situations, but the wave of illegals are used by the terrorists in Europe. They blow themselves in Paris, in Sweden, in Germany, not in Poland. 0 illegal migration equals 0 terrorist attack. That's official data.
I want to ask the congressman your perspective as an American on how we would handle the southern border security issue.
Well, I mean, even if you didn't need guns or did need guns, Biden didn't care.
Yeah,
we
true.
Were welcoming them
it's not about you.
Policy.
It's about Democrats. What they did. They did nothing.
It's not that we can't stop them. I mean, he can build a wall and stop them. The Democrats opened the doors in the wall.
Yeah, and invited them.
Yeah, invite them when they come in.
Invite them. Just
one other thing about being in the rotunda when Trump was delivering that speech. From where I was sitting, I could see George Bush, and I could see Bill Clinton, and I could see Joe Biden. Just a cabal of neocons who have started wars and got us involved in so many things overseas. And it looked like they were eating lemons, and Trump was having a ball with it, just feeding them lemons.
That was wonderful. I wanted to answer Ian's question that he asked earlier. So Donald Trump did use his emergency powers to... Donald Trump, is that good? Good?
Yeah,
all right. Donald Trump did use his emergency powers to declare an invasion. And that tends to still need Congress to issue some sort of joint resolution or kind of back him up. It needs congressional affirmation, I believe. He can't just do that, but he did that so that way he could enact the Alien Enemies Act that John Adams incited in 1798. And that would give him the power to order troops to restrain and just apprehend illegal people that are threatening America. And the last time this was used was World War II, when they did it to the Japanese. So he's not planning to put them all in camps like FDR did. He's planning to send them back home.
Just a couple of clarifications. Donald Trump issued a lethal force authorization back in 2018, and it is the current policy of CBP that they do have the authorization for lethal force.
Thank God.
When presented with a threat or something of that nature.
So that wasn't overturned by Biden. Biden didn't overturn. I know he went in and overturned everything.
Well, so the issue was when we had this big border crisis with Texas and the federal government, I believe it was reaffirmed, or it was explicitly affirmed, the National Guard had the authority to use lethal force because there are cartel members with rifles.
That's right.
With ill-intent trafficking children.
But you had 4 years of services being scared to use it. That is the problem. Because if this law is in power, why they are still coming? Why they are not afraid? When we passed the law recently, the numbers of illegal drop drastically. The issue is largely that although Trump issued, I'll clarify. So I think Democrats, they build the atmosphere for the illegals with these apps, websites, inviting them, and services did not what to do. Okay, we do have a right, but then on the political side, we have president and administration, which is inviting. That's how I understand this situation.
I'll break this down because it's worse than you than we are discussing. The first thing I'll say is the authorization, as we see it, it's supposed to be obvious. If our law enforcement, if our National Guard, if our soldiers, our federal agents are being threatened by obvious armed cartel members or otherwise, they have a right to use force to defend themselves and this country. What ends up happening under the Biden administration is this open door policy that they deny until it becomes so problematic they have no choice. Chicago is dealing with a mass migration problem. It's worse. We've discussed it on the show. Dr. Phil appearing on The View explaining it was so far gone as to how Biden, his administration, was allowing this, that there were CBP agents publicly stating that there were children being trafficked into prostitution under their watch and facilitated by CBP. Customs and Border Protection were bringing in children with numbers on their arms that they knew they were being sent into child prostitution, and they assisted in it as per the orders they were given by the federal government. What's changing now? It's really simple. We don't need to worry about lethal force. We don't need to worry. Donald Trump is shutting the border down for illegal immigration, and he's gonna build a wall. He's issuing the executive orders. So back to what you were saying, Ian. When I look at issues of Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, etc., you're going to have to give me a really, really clever and likely circuitous argument about the interests of the American people and what these things do for us. The southern border makes sense when we know from Dr. Phil himself, children are being trafficked. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.